how's it going, everybody? Gabriel Santiago here. So this is a Speaking of Harmony podcast, and this is episode 20. Wow, we're already at 20. Thank you so much for the love, for the comments, for the feedback. It's been great. Keep them coming. I just want to remind you guys that tomorrow, Monday, I'm going to be live again on YouTube here at 8 p.m. Central Time. So don't forget to give yourself a reminder and come down there and hang out with me. I'll be playing some more songs and interacting with you guys, answering questions and all that good stuff. All right, thank you so much. Before we get into today's podcast, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, activate the little bell thing, notifications. This is my social media stuff. Please give this video a love, a thumbs up with a like. It will help a lot. And don't forget to sign up for the mailing list. The link is here in the video description. So let's go on. I was playing today early, doing my warm-ups and stuff, and I thought about something that's worth talking about, you guys. There's like all this, music is about the details, right? Everything's about the tiny details. We have sort of the big picture, and you have the chords and the harmony and stuff. But when you're actually inside the chord and playing and performing, there's all this like tiny details that really make the difference, right? And one thing that caught my attention early on, I was playing, I was like, well, that's cool to talk about that. It's like this thing they call just riffing on a chord, and I call it diatonic riffing because it usually kind of inside some kind of a harmony, right? And what is that? It just basically relates to that thing I was talking about, which is like harmony should be about movement. It should be always moving in the harmony, even if you're like in one chord. You should always have a sense of movement, right? Because we're talking about movement, we're talking about voices, and we're talking about #voice leading, right? So if the voices are in movement, even though you're stuck into one chord, you're still applying movement. And there's like a few things, a few strategies you can use. Like I talked about something before, which is the inversions, right? That you can use, right, to kind of create some movement within the chord. But the stuff that I want to talk is just the riffing, which means just kind of like applying certain gestures to a chord, thus making it more the sense of movement, right? For instance, you can think about in two ways. That's how I think it. Like melodic and harmonic. That's how I would think about it. If you think about like melodic gestures, it's like, for instance, a grace note, right? This kind of thing. So if you're doing D major like this on the groove, there's nothing wrong about it. But how about if I apply a little grace note coming from the second, the third? See how like creates this little something, put some spice in there. So see, you already kind of like created this little gesture, this little fragment, and that's material that we can use later, right? So this kind of thing, or the fifth. I mean, you probably play this 1,000 times without even noticing, right? It's just kind of like ingrained in the way we play, right? You play. That's like a cool gesture you can use. You can even like think also as a like an appoggiatura thing, like I talked about as a non-harmonic tone. If you want to like give it more time, like right, it's just something that is attacked on the downbeat, the strong beat. But I'm talking about more like just this grace note, basically, right? So you just kind of scrape the chord a little bit, And you see all these beautiful, great guitarists, plays like country music and bluegrass and all this stuff. Like they are masters of this kind of stuff. It's like that. all this kind of stuff. The blues, draws a lot from that too. This is just me riffing, basically, right? On a chord. And just thus applying movement to that, even though the chord is just kind of stuck in there, right? So that's one thing, and that's how, I would just think about it as like a melodic perspective. That's how I would look at it, right? But it can also look in a sort of a harmonic way, right? Which means you kind of riff from a different chord, using a pedal and stuff like that, and it just sounds different, but you do that all the time already, right? Which is, let's say, let's say you have this G, and you just kind of like, you have to be playing this G for a long time, right? What you do, just kind of play the G, right? Right? I mean, I can invert it, right? But how about if you do the riffing thing, which means this little gesture, but now I'm like applying a chord to it as well, but I'm still thinking of G, but I'm just kind of like, G becomes a pedal. I'm of course playing a different chord, but I don't see it as a different chord. I see it as a riffing, right? I'm just like almost like a grace note kind of thing. So for instance, you see, in this case I'm using C major, right? Over G, right? But I'm not really thinking, I'm gonna play C here. I'm just like in G. For me, I'm still in G. I'm just like, see, over here, I can do here, I can do, so that stuff works, it's very effective when you want to like create movement still within one chord. Stuff like that. You can do also like more like a sus kind of sound, thus making me play like F, kind of like in that. Right? I'm playing F over G, right? Or C major. I can also do, like a little more expanded harmonically, but the A major over this, right? See, and I can even use like a dominant, like D major on this case, and then articulate the 4. But again, I'm still in G major-ish for me. Like I'm still kind of like thinking of E major. I'm just using this to apply movement, as I keep saying, right? Then I can do, minor 4 also. C minor over here in the mix. See, you can do that. You can even use, if you apply the, the famous blue note, right? Right? So in this case, I can like put this. I'm kind of thinking of the F major thing here, but then I'm using the blue note, like double in the interval, so I get this cool riff, right? See? So in D, see, I'm not leaving the chord, I'm just like staying within it, but just applying movement by using this, this little movement, this little gestures, as I call, right? And I can do that melodically over like one note, like this kind of stuff that you see all the time, and also with chords. And blue note and everything else, right? That's a cool trick that you can use. So experiment with that if you have already doing that, because all of you probably already played tons of that stuff. Sometimes you don't realize what we're doing. And I was thinking about it and decided that it would be a cool thing to talk about it. Just kind of like, hey, a bunch of you guys already do this kind of thing. And this is a cool way to apply movement to a chord, without having to leave the actual chord. Or if you're stuck in a sequence that you have to be playing the chord for a long time. So you have more tools to just kind of keep things moving, right? So I hope you like that. And I'll see you tomorrow on another episode, and hopefully at night with the live version of the podcast. And thank you so much for sticking around. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, activate the little bell thing notifications. This is all my social media stuff. And don't forget to sign up the mailing list, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you very much.